Sue Smith sitting in for Aaron Randon. Great to be with you. And it's always nice to interact with everybody. Lots of texts coming in, and thanks to everybody who takes the time to talk to us on the phone and on the text line. And thanks, even if you don't, for listening. We're going to talk about, believe it or not, tanning, because tan lines are in again. Teenagers and young adults, let's call them Gen Z, are doing something called tanmaxxing. That's 2 X's, XX, yeah. Led by, guess what? Social media. Influencers are encouraging their followers to tan faster and also to turn burns into tans. So remember that thing called the UV index? It was invented by 3 Canadian scientists, I did not know that, to communicate the dangers of the sun's radiation. Well, Gen Zers now are using it to actually maximize their sun exposure. Dr. Julia Carroll is a board-certified dermatologist and vice chair of the Canadian Dermatology Association's Sun Awareness Working Group, and she joins me on the line. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for talking about this strange, weird phenomenon.
All right. Well, I was going to get your initial reaction, but I guess that's it.
It's shocking. You know, we spent so much time trying to educate people on sun safety and safe sun practices, and it just feels like, you know, we've swung way far the other way all of a sudden this past 2 years.
Yeah. So your organization recently did a survey of Gen Zers. What did you find?
So we found that they're aware of the damages that can be done, but the majority of them are not wearing sunscreen.
Wow. Yeah, and one of the surveys that I saw said they say it makes them feel more confident, and they think it makes them look better in photos. Is that what you...
Yeah, I mean, I think I have a teenage daughter myself, and I do know that, you know, and I was one teenager myself at one point. But so, you know, we know that that's definitely a thing, and I think we don't want to dismiss the fact that people want to look. They want to look healthy. They want to look more attractive. But I think there are ways to do that, and doing it safely.
Yeah.
So, you know, as a dermatologist, my main message is to love the skin you're in, but we can't always convince people of that. So there are things like, you know, spray tans, and there's amazing self tanners compared to when I was growing up that can really give you that look, but do it in a safe way.
Mm-hmm. So what do you recommend to young people who want to get that look? Because when I last used to talk about self tanners, it was like you put it on as a base and then you tan with that on, or is that passé?
Right, which actually didn't give you any protection whatsoever because it wasn't tan. It's just like a brown color on the skin. So it didn't give you any protection.
Right.
You know, people will talk about a base tan they get from sun giving them protection, but that only actually gives them an SPF level of anywhere from 2 to 4. So it's not really protective either. Mm-hmm. That's one of the myths that we see out there. But I would recommend that people, you know, there are amazing self tanners out there. There's some that kind of build slowly, you know, so if they really want to tan. But I really try to just encourage people to embrace the skin color that they came with and work with that.
Okay. So I just want to get back to the sort of, you know, where the message went wrong. Like you say that they are aware of sunscreen, and you and organizations like yours have done so much education. So, I mean, where do you think the flaw is, or what do you think you can do better?
I mean, I think that tans are seeing this tanning content constantly on social media, particularly on TikTok. Mm-hmm. And these influencers are tying tanning to looking healthier, looking thinner, looking like you've been on a vacation. And so, you know, they're constantly being bombarded with that message. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's hard to get through that noise. So as an organization, I mean, I think we're trying to look at ways that we can, bring up the messaging of sun safety, still getting outside, still enjoying the outdoors, but doing it in a healthy way and protecting yourself while you're doing it. You can still be out and enjoy our amazing Canadian summer without damaging your skin.
Yeah, you need an influencer who starts to extol the
we need to find
virtues of pale skin, you know?
Exactly. Or somebody who's had, somebody who, wasn't so great with the sun when they were younger and now has a big scar on their face from removal of a skin cancer.
Yeah, I mean, it does make me think of cigarettes a little bit because, of course, those 100%. Are the kind of pictures that the cigarette or the Canadian Cancer Society is using to counter cigarette use. Cigarette use is also up under, with young people, which, I guess is not surprising, right? When you're young, you think you're immune from everything. I mean, we were talking before on the air about Bain de Soleil, which was popular when I was young.
Right, it was like SPF 2 or 4. I think.
Was it even? I mean, I thought it was just oil.
Maybe it was just oil. I think there was different levels. You start at a 4 and work your way down to a 2, and then switch to the oil. I think that was how we used to do it.
And I just remember on the package it said it would make you sunny Bronxed and highly, highly desirable. That was actually the marketing. But well, maybe it's just my age, but I mean, eventually, the message did get into my head, and now I wear, 50 and 60. So, yeah. I mean,
I think we know that, younger, whether it's teens or 20s, that people, like the immediacy of injury, death, cancer, damage is not there. It's you want that instant gratification. So I think that's part of it, is that you can tell them they're going to get skin cancer, but it's so far away in their life that they're more interested in having the tan lines to show off to their friends and worrying about their future self. But I always tell them, I'm like, future you gets a vote too. And you're going to look back at this and you're going to think, wow, I wish I would have listened to fill in the blank, my dermatologist, my mom, my family doctor.
Imagine if your dermatologist is your mom. Right? Your kids.
There's a lot of baskets of sunscreen around my house and with hats beside them. But I think, it's also when these messages, with smoking, I think that we kind of, the battle was won with a significant number of the population on that. Yeah. And then people took their foot off the gas in terms of getting that message out. No, I don't think we've done that in terms of sun and sunscreen. I think in this case, it's just the fact that we're being drowned out by non-experts who are looking for clickbait on social media.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about influencers and the bad, trends. I was talking earlier about that one, remember, where you had to plump up your lips by basically giving yourself a hickey in a bottle and that kind of thing. So what is your message? I mean, I recently went to the dermatologist, and basically I'm like at the minimum 60, and she said, if you're going to be inside all day, here, have this, SPF 35. So what are you telling people right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think on a day-to-day basis, like I put on sunscreen every day, whether I don't, it's like I put my seatbelt on, I don't check the traffic report before I get in my car. So I do put it on every morning. Now, if I'm sitting inside in my office all day, I'm not by a window, I'm at a patient room all day, I'm probably all day, I'm not reapplying. But if I'm out on the weekend, I'm out for a walk, I'm out on the water, playing a sport, then I am reapplying. That's part of it. Mm-hmm. But the other thing is, like, sunscreen is just one part of the protection program. Mm-hmm. You want to choose activities that are, outside the peak sun hours, especially in the dead of summer. And then you also can, protect yourself with clothing. So for me, I spend a lot of time on the water, and so I like clothing. So I have sun protective clothing, and I wear a nice hat, and I have sunglasses on, and then I'm using sunscreen on the places that I wasn't able to protect with other measures.
But I bet your teenage daughter is wearing a bikini.
She is. Yep. She's at camp right now with a bag full of bikinis.
Exactly. No, I take your point.
And a bag full of sunscreen that I sent.
Yeah,
hopefully it makes it out of the cabin.
Well, listen, great talking to you. I love your balanced approach. I appreciate your thoughts on this.
Okay, thanks. Have a great rest of the summer.
Thanks. You too.
iHeartRadio is throwing it back.
2010s, the decade.
To the days of huge hits and unforgettable anthems. A non-stop stream of the biggest and best.
Drake, Rihanna, Beyonce, Katy, Gaga, The Weeknd.
And more. All your decade-defining favorites all in one place.
Hi, it's Katy Perry.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
This is Kesha.
Find 2010's The Decade on the free iHeartRadio app. Preset the station so it's always one tap away.